There once was a man from Massachusetts named Dr. Seuss, who, upon generations of youngsters, he set loose stories of a Grinch, a Cat in the Hat, and Zax. But most depressing of all was the tale of the Lorax. "I am the Lorax, I speak for the trees," said this short, furry orange thing, as bold as you please, to a young, ambitious onceler driven by greed. He chopped down scores of trees to make a rag called the Need. He chopped down tree after tree until they were all gone. Only then did the onceler realize his ways were all wrong. Years later, he told a curious boy the tale of his deed and entrusted to him the last truffle tree seed. Now the folks at Illumination Entertainment, makers of Despicable Me, read Seuss's fable and said, "Hey, let's make this into an animated movie." To voice the characters, they did cast Ed Helms, Betty White, and Danny DeVito, and Taylor Swift and Zac Efron, and they said this will be neato. But the story was too short to make into a film, you see. So they gave the boy a name, Ted, and a bigger role in the story. Ted lives with his mom and grandma in a plastic city, and he wants to give a living tree to a girl who is pretty. But standing in his way is a small, greedy chap named O'Hare. He doesn't want the trees back because he sells bottled air. The air must remain smoggy so people will be willing to buy his fresh air. He sounds like a Captain Planet villain. I knew going in this movie wouldn't be glorious stuff, and I was right. It was like the top of a tuffla tree, all fluff. But is it enjoyable or a waste of your time? Well, I can answer that question, and I'll do it in rhyme. Whoa! Okay, I'll speak normally from now on. Man, I didn't know my poetry was that bad. This film was okay. It was noticeable. You could tell it was there, and not just during times when things are popping out at you from the screen. This picture had some depth. It was a little like watching action on stage, but not too much. The animation was very colorful, very pretty, and the architecture of the buildings looks like something that would belong in the world of Dr. Seuss, so that's a plus. The characters were very likable. I liked how they fleshed out the onceler a little bit. They made him more than just a greedy jerk. And the grandma, I loved the grandma. You know those old people stereotypes? They're too slow, they're senile, they're forgetful. She doesn't fit those stereotypes, but she acts like she does in order to manipulate people. For example, to be able to tell Ted about the onceler and where he can get a tree for his girlfriend, he has to get Ted's mom out of the room. And she does this by saying, "Oh, I forgot my false teeth. Will you be a dear and go get them?" And as soon as Mom's out of the room, she takes her false teeth out of her pocket, pops them back in her mouth, and tells Ted about the onceler. And she is a snowboarding pro. Towards the end of the movie, she's zipping down the mountain, pulling off all these fancy moves, and she's also a pro with construction equipment. That is one incredible grandma. The voice actors are good. They do a great job with their roles, but no performance really stood out for me. I liked that they named the boy Ted after Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss's real name was Theodore Gesell. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. And I thought that was a nice touch. The movie had the same message as the book did, which is your basic take care of the environment, greed is bad, industry is bad. But I felt that in the movie that message was sort of watered down, and I think it's because the movie had, and I don't think I'm spoiling this for anyone here, a happy ending. And you could tell by the previews that it was going to be a happy ending. Seuss's book, it was sad. The pollution problem didn't get fixed. The Onceler gave the seed to the boy, who is supposed to represent the reader, and basically says, okay, this is in your hands now. You've got to make this better and make up for the sins of the generation that came before you. And I thought that ending was more inspiring and more memorable than the movie was. This movie is a musical. It has 4 or 5 songs in it, but they're not all that memorable. They were okay, but I couldn't even tell you the lyrics of any of them. I forgot them as soon as I walked out of the movie theater. In fact, this movie as a whole was pretty forgettable. There was nothing really memorable about it. The Lorax, the movie, is an adequate adaptation of Lorax, the book. It carries the same message, even if that message doesn't have the same weight in the movie as it does in the book. Little kids will definitely get a kick out of it. It's fun, it's colorful, it has some cute scenes. Sadly, it's nothing more than your standard nature good, business bad, we've gotta save nature flick. I give it a... but forgettable. Until next time, this is Lady Fantasy, signing off. If you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe, and check out my other reviews, both for Cinema Scene and for my other show, Realms of Sci-Fi and Fantasy. Until next time, bye-bye!